I came out publicly to tell not only the people of the United States, but people of the world that the first American wounded in the Iraq War was a gay Marine. I wanted people to see that there are gay men and women fighting for the rights and freedoms of our citizens, fighting against oppression and hate. However, the ironic thing is that when gay veterans like myself who are wounded in Iraq or Afghanistan or past wars such as Vietnam, Korea, or Germany, when they come home, they do not have the same rights as everyone else. In essence, the words liberty and justice for all has exclusion in our country. That exclusion is you and I, our GLBT friends and family. It wasn't until I watched my own state of Texas in 2005 ban same-sex marriage, and even this week, receiving a letter from one of my own U.S. senators saying he would not vote for a hate crimes law, that I knew I had to use my experience of losing my leg to show people I have served my country, that I had sacrificed not only for me, but for all of you as well, people who are part of the GLBT community. It is estimated that there are 65,000 gay, lesbian, and bisexual Americans serving in the armed forces today, according to the Urban Institute. That is 65,000, ladies and gentlemen. But we have to be realistic and know that there are far greater numbers that have served this country for 200 plus years in its existence. As of the other day, 7 more U.S. troops were killed in Iraq, bringing our total to 3,760 that have been killed. That is not even including the 600 plus we have lost in Afghanistan. But here is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. No one, I repeat, no one can deny the fact, not even the president himself, that there were no gay men and women in those numbers who lost their lives fighting for the protection of our freedom, because there was. The really sad and realistic part is that some of those members of the armed forces have had loved ones back home here in the United States. But because of the laws and the way they are, notification of their loved ones being killed in war would not happen. A person just stopped receiving letters one day from their loved one in Iraq or Afghanistan and only be notified if that person has communication with the partner's family. Another example of how this policy is cruel and unjust is that a gay man or woman fighting in the war would never be notified if their loved one back home was in a serious car accident or was gravely ill. All because of other people's prejudice and fear that has allowed discrimination to be written into our laws and policies. Many people in this country, even the president himself, have a perfectly good soundbite of saying, we support our troops. The reality of it is that they are only supporting some of our troops. Let's ask all the Republican presidential candidates who wants to be the next commander-in-chief, which troops they support. Back in June of 2007, during a presidential debate, we saw when all 10 men asked if they were in favor of repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and not one single one of them raised their hand and basically said no. These are the men who want to be president, who want to sit in the White House, the house that belongs to the people of this country. What kind of leader is that? Obviously not one for equality. Not to shock anyone any further, but the military recruiting standards have been lowered to make up for the shortages of recruitments across the country today. The military has introduced what they call moral waivers, which allows people who have committed serious misdemeanors like aggravated assault, robbery, burglary, and vehicular manslaughter, just to name a few, to join the United States Armed Forces, while at the same time, 2 to 3 men and women are being discharged daily, some with impeccable military service records, and some who are in high demand right now, such as Arabic linguists, just for being gay. Now I ask you, my friends, what is wrong with this picture? I could go on and on about the repercussions of what this discriminatory policy does to the American people, but I will not do that. I want people to recognize that next year is an election, and I will be a strong voice for the GLBT community. I will show people that I have fought for its rights and freedoms of my fellow GLBT friends. We can no longer tolerate oppression in this country solely for who we are as people. I am optimistic that one day the ban on gay men and women in the military will be lifted, and we will join other countries such as Great Britain, Australia, Canada, and even Israel, to name a few, on letting men and women serve openly in the military. My friends, we must continue to live our lives bravely and live without fear or shame. We must continue to fight for equality in every way we can. And we must always stand with pride and dignity, just as I stand here tonight on two good legs again. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a gay man who survived a war, a man who has survived a battle, only to come home to another battle, and that battle is for equality. I will leave you with this. The late Dr. Martin Luther King once said, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." Thank you so much for letting me be part of such a great and fabulous dinner, especially for here in the great state of Nevada. And I am so blessed to still be alive today, considering all. And I thank you so much, and God bless you all.